That
I know you're sitting down and you're rising up. I understand your thought afar off. I discern you're going out and you're lying down, and I am familiar with all your ways. For there is not a word on your tongue, but behold, my child, I know it completely. I have hedged you behind and before, and laid my hand upon you. Such knowledge is wonderful. It is high. None can attain it. Where can you go from my spirit? Or where can you flee from my presence? If you ascend into heaven, I am there. If you make your bed in the depths, behold, I am there. If you take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there my hand shall lead you, and my right hand shall hold you. If you say, surely the darkness shall fall on me, even the night shall be light about you. Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from me, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to me. For I formed your inward parts. I covered you in your mother's womb. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are my works, and that your soul knows very well. Your frame was not hidden from me when you were made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. My eyes saw your substance, being yet unformed, and in my book they all were written, the days fashioned for you, when as of yet there were none of them. How precious also are my thoughts to you, my child. How great is the sum of them. If you should count them, there would be more in number than the sand. When you awake, I am still with you, and I'll lead you in the way everlasting.
Hey guys, I was just warming up, making sure all the settings are sorted. Thanks for joining us again. Just looking at this, I'm looking at the feed on Discord and all the newest news that I haven't gone through yet. So where's this? Hmm. It's probably something to do with virus, isn't it? Surely. Who's this guy?
All right, guys, I am live once again. I've got some very breaking news, very big breaking news. You're not going to want to miss this one. Make sure you share it everywhere. I've been looking at the stuff all night. I was contemplating on whether to share it later today or to share it now because I haven't had enough sleep, but I'm going to get it out there.
Yeah, share it.
This is so important
Sooner the better.
that I'm going to get it out there now, and we're going to go over that information in just a few minutes.
I'm gonna skip you in a few minutes then, eh?
The time that I kind of hit the hay and try to get a little sleep. But I really have to share with you guys this information. And yeah, it's about the raid in Germany, but there's a lot more going on.
Okay, maybe that's what that previous video was.
The raid in Germany is just a part of what I think it all means when you put it all together and all the information we've been looking at behind the scenes, whether it's rumor, it's not been outed by the mainstream. They're trying to quench it. They're trying to stop this information from getting out. Lots of journalists that are mainstream have been trying to get it out, and it's been kind of going viral in different areas on the internet. But it's like a cat and mouse game with the big tech giants. The big tech giants are really trying to stop
Give me
this
that banner.
Now, there's no stopping it now. There's no stopping it. It is going to go. I think it's going to happen in the next. It may happen today. I'm going to show you all this information. It's going to blow your mind. It's to what's happening. So there's another piece of the dream that is now coming into focus. I'm going to talk to you about the dream, also about what it means in relation to release the Kraken. Have you guys ever seen that movie? I never saw the movie. What was it? Clash of the Titans, right? And I'm sorry, I've got something going on with my with my voice a little bit here. Clash of the Titans. It was mythology, and it was a movie about, well, anyway, the Kraken, I guess, is like an octopus type creature that was released by Hades, I believe. Hades released this creature, and mortals were to fear the release of this creature. Now, I'm going to give you a little preview of this. Hopefully I don't get a copyright on this. But just so you kind of understand what this is, because the lawyer of General Flynn on Lou Dobbs yesterday basically said, release the Kraken. She looked very empowered as well as PO'd. You'll understand in relationship to what Lou Dobbs was talking to her about. And this has been the 4 years of a coup attempt. Literally, guys, I'm going to explode with information here on you guys, so just hold tight. Just let me get it out, okay? Don't give up here just yet. But I just wanted to show you this little clip, so kind of give you the feel for what we're about to see go down.
Brother, it is time for the mortals to pay.
What's going on with his audio?
Okay, so sorry about that. I had the sound off there. The sound was a little low. I'm gonna crank it up here just a bit. He says to Hades, "Brother, it's time for the mortals to pay." Listen.
It is time for the mortals to pay. My child waits to do your will. Leave us. Release the Kraken!
Okay, so something's coming out. What is it? It's an octopus or some kind of a octopus type beast coming out of the depths of the ocean. And it's coming for the mortals, right? Okay. Why did General Flynn's lawyer say this last night? Okay. She knows something. Maria Bartoloma. Did you see what she said? These people do not stake their reputations on clickbaity, hype, sensational top headlines. They don't do this, okay? These people have information that is about to explode on the American public. And I don't think the mainstream is going to in any way, not to mention of what's going to happen to the mainstream, not to mention what's going to actually happen to the tech giants. We're seeing it happen right now in Germany with these servers. The U.S. military went over there to secure these servers, to take possession of these servers. Okay, I'm going to give you all the documents. I'm going to give you all the evidence, and I'm going to read you guys some stuff. Let's just watch the last part. I wanted to break it up just in case it's going to give me a copyright, but just watch. Okay, so there you go. That's the Kraken. Now, really quickly, just a little snippet before I get into all the data. The data. All the information on what's coming out here. Just watch this.
Liberty Bell began to melt, and like heat was being applied. And then I saw that the lines of data were all headed towards Washington, D.C. from there. And it looked like the city had these octopus arms, and they were trying to fight to disconnect the data lines. And what I assumed was they were trying to keep the explosive power of the system shutting down from hitting Washington, D.C.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you guys, things are about to shut down. Okay, things are about to shut down. Not to mention all the patriots are converging in Washington, D.C. today. There's a Patriot March, right? Isn't it today? Huge, 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 huge. President Trump is going to meet them. He's going to say hello. He's going to actually go out to the march or to the gathering or the rally or whatever it is, and he's going to say hello. Okay, encouraging the movements around the country. There's rallies taking place around the country right now. Huge rallies. This is all optics to show the world how big of a movement this is in favor of President Trump. Now, we're going to get into all this information. Oh my gosh. Just share, you guys, if you haven't shared this yet, please share it. Now, this is all a part of it. What you see going on right here. You see this? Google or Apple are censoring links to Trump-related content. Why is Apple and Google censoring this stuff right now? So blatantly censoring. They are in desperation mode right now. I want to tell you guys, the tech giants, the mainstream media, the intelligence, the apparatus, even some of the political people that are connected to all this stuff. The reason why they're trying to get Trump to resign or to concede, they're just really. Did you see Jared Kushner trying to get Trump to concede? Why did Israel's prime minister congratulate Biden even before the election was even called? There's no reason for him to do it according to our laws. All of the bookies and all of the bets that are going on for the presidential election are not calling it. There's countries all around the world that are not calling this yet. They're not saying Biden elect. Nobody, because it's not finalized. Everything is in the courts. They know something huge is going on here in America, and they're not calling it. But why is Jared Kushner, who I believe is very connected well with Israel, they want Trump to concede. They want Trump to give up. Trump ain't going to give up. Trump unfriended Benjamin Netanyahu for a reason. Okay, Trump's not going to forget that. Okay, when Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed that Biden was the president-elect and congratulated him, President Trump did not like that at all, okay? Because that was like a stab in his back. Okay, so what's going on here with this Google censoring all the links? I'm just going to tell you, it's all connected. Everything is connected, what you see going on right now. Let's just look at this. Now, I just want to say this. This is just to show you that they're censoring stuff. This is the first time I've ever seen this happen on our channel. I've never seen this happen on our channel comments. We had people that were commenting in our live stream on the text, and it said Google Monitor Team has deleted this comment. Why is Google monitoring the Google Team Monitor? Why are they deleting comments? That's not for them to do. Why are they censoring comments in real time with a monitor from Google? I've never seen them do this on any channel. I've never seen comments deleted in live stream. Now, somebody should watch what's going on in our live stream right now, because if you see comments deleted right here off of our channel and it says Google Team Monitor, Princess PJ screenshotted it, so she has all that information too. Never seen that happen, ever. Okay, so here's more. And the reason they're doing this, and I'm going to show you the reason they're doing this. And by the way, whoever's out there listening to this that knows what's going on, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. This is a heads up, I'm guessing. I'm sure that the intelligence already knows. John Brennan knows. He looked like he was pooping bricks the other day on that program, talking about how they need to do the 25th Amendment on Trump. They need to stop him. He's going to do something stupid. He's going to release information that's highly secure. What did he say?
Yeah, he did threaten to
national
release
security issues that are going to be released. All this information, he can't release it. He looks scared to death. I'm talking about John Brennan, and there's a reason why they're scared to death, and I'm going to show you right now. Let's see, where do I go first? There's so much to talk about here. Let's just go right here. Okay. Now, Mike Adams from Natural News was talking about this yesterday. He did an article on this. I showed you guys on the 12th the information that he started to show you here. I just showed you the executive order. How many of you guys remember me showing you the executive order of President Trump from 2018, September. How many of you guys remember me showing you that executive order? I read through it. I think it was on the 12th. Yeah, it was probably the 12th. I think I did that. Well, he went into this whole executive order that seemingly has just been forgotten. But there's some information in this executive order that everybody needs to know, and how it's been connecting, how it is connected to what just happened in Germany with the servers. Not to mention the company Dominion that runs all of the software and all these machines, these voting machines in America, along with another company called Skittle. I think it's called Skittle. And this is the company that's related to Dominion. They're the two largest companies. They're the two largest companies that deal with software for voting machines in the world. Here it is right here. So SCYTL, I guess that's Skittle. You say it? Skittle Secure Electronic Voting. It's a Spanish provider of electronic voting systems and election technology. It was founded in 2001 in Barcelona. And their services are used worldwide. Okay? Now, this company, as well as Dominion, are the two biggest ones in the world. Okay, we're going to get into this, so hold on to your seats. So it says 2020 election took place.
Anyone still watching this, or can I change this?
Took place under a Trump
You want to go
declared
to it,
national
it's,
emergency, and this was the executive order
Trump
I read you guys
news.
the other day, that set an election day trap. Remember the trap? For the unauthorized accessing of election.
Let's just skip through it a bit.
And corrupted Spanish company Skittle in Spain. Like Dominion Voting Systems, Skittle has a long history of election fraud. In Section 8, the order explains that the term person also means a partnership, an association, a trust, a joint venture, a corporation, a group, a subgroup, or other organization. Now that covers Facebook, because Facebook did a bunch of this stuff under a subgroup. You see how Facebook was trying to hide, trying to get out from under any kind of liability for what they were doing? Facebook is going down. Zuckerberg, Twitter, the guy who owns Twitter, I'm telling you, they're all
Okay, welcome to East Steps Tour News, and we're going to be looking at a few things tonight. Well, early this morning. For one, we got this storm coming through here, and you can see it's projected to be right here at the land in 72 hours. Let me get back on that. Okay, 72 hours, November the 16th. Supposed to be 100 knots, 120 miles per hour. Right there is the name. And then we have this one over here. Let me back it up. And if you're curious of why these storms are still going when we're supposed to not have any right now at this time of the year, it's supposed to be over. There has been so many storms that they have run out of names, first time in history.
They ran out of names, yeah, they're using
the
letters
water
and that now.
in the ocean is warming up. Okay, this one's supposed to be 72 hours, the 17th. Supposed to be right here in this area. Near Spain. Wow. So that will be west of Spain in 72 hours.
We were discussing that earlier, the theta waves.
That's the way it's predicted to come up through here. But the waters is warming up. I wonder why the waters is warming up. magma rising in the ocean. You know that, they don't tell you everything. Sometimes on this earth, common sense will get you a long ways. If we see a magma in the
Common
daytime,
sense will get you a long
when I
way.
saw a lot of it, you can look at
Yeah.
my playlist. Just click on my little fireball icon or profile, wherever you see it, and it'll take you to my channel. Look at my playlist. Hotspots daytime, coming down the coast. Now we got all this, all that movement. Oceans is heating up. What will that cause? Glaciers, ice to melt, water to take over land, all kinds of destruction. Okay, let's go check out what's going on with the fires and magma flow. Okay, first, I try to keep you up to date on everything. We need to keep up with everything. It's keep everybody safe. Anyway, out here on the Mendocino fault line, coming in right here at the junction. These are the Wanda Fuca faults. And we had a 3.5, 39 kilometers west-northwest of Petrolia, California, 16.5 kilometers deep. And we also had a 4.3 in Ferndale, California, show up. Where did it go? Some of my subscribers has seen that. 4.3, Ferndale, California. Not there. Yeah, there's been 2 quakes raised California, quite a few in Washington. You know there's something going on now, and they know what is going on. They can see that, and they don't know what's heating the ocean. Well, we see the magma rising. They got the same satellites. The news that shows you your weather uses the same satellite. They could see them big red places light up. They know. Just don't know why they're not telling no one. They will bring it out. Just like everything else, it will not be
Probably
here
just
too
don't want
long.
anyone to
And
panic.
the way I'm bringing it out and teaching everyone how to use the satellite, too many people is learning quickly. They will have to bring it out and tell the truth. I've been doing this for years. Okay, let's go check the magma out. Start out up here in Idaho. Well, let's go over here, Ontario, Canada, and check it out. Okay, let's look up here. Yeah, Ontario, it lit up in areas, and don't seem like they're going out. If they don't go out, then it's not control burns. Control burns, it will go completely out.
What is that? Is that
We keep
those
an eye on that.
wildfires? What's it saying that is?
Okay, now we're going to look in
It must be the
North
fires, right?
Washington. I want to show you this. Look right here in this area. You can see it under
Yeah, it's
the
definitely not
snow.
common anymore.
Let me see if I can get it popped up there first, and then I'll take it back. Okay, right here.
There's a bad storm in
Now,
Egypt.
through the day, is that snow? Have y'all got snow right there? A few inches or something?
Yeah, really active weather.
Because it is under it. And then it heats on up. And then it's burning. Well, it went down right there, but I still see it popping up. Yeah, right there it is. Next few images. Oh, there's quite a bit in here. There it is again. Okay, it went down and came back up, which now we got some low clouds on the ground, so I can't rule that out. But over here in Idaho, let me go back to the edge of daylight. Break of daylight. You can see it's real cloudy.
It must be the fires there, yeah.
Still got these down here. Idaho has still got quite a bit. And they've been going, what, for a week now or longer? I'd have to go back and check my updates, but they're still here.
That covers what Dana Galveston used to, you know, when he had the
And
dreams.
so
He's like,
are they in Montana, and then
looked
they're
like
still up
the
here
entire
in Canada.
of America was, you know.
See the one over here,
Oh yeah, thanks. I'll check
and
that.
still up there. Okay, they're not
What
going
weather?
out.
Okay.
Clouds is passing over them, but they're not going out. Go back and check my updates out and in my playlist, and you'll see these have been here for about a week now, somewhere around there. Yeah, and in my playlist, you can also find one up in Alaska where that volcano.
Listen up, UK. It's time to show local business some love. You can, everyone can. Just leave a Google review. Because Google reviews do wonders for places like this. Support local
Yeah, but that's not
businesses you love
essential
with a little help from
travel, eh? It's proper coming down, isn't it? It's 7-foot wave. Oh. Yeah, this weather is crazy. No. Oh yeah. Yeah, also they are like is there a train station, eh? That was the last one. Oh my days, look at all those electric cables there. nothing, eh? You remember the ones that prophesied to come, the 100 pound weight hailstones? Yeah. I think that's down the line. After Rapture, hopefully, eh? I just saw a cat run across the park. Did you see one? Yeah, that was a good sized piece of hail. Like, yeah, a lot of property
Grammarly
might
can
get
help you write
damaged with that.
quickly and confidently, so you never have to slow down at work. Instant.
Hmm. That's the flood one. Let's check that one out.
Tumulong ka kaya doon na lang kat.
Hey, where's proper flooded? Like, what are you gushing about over there? Oh, okay.
Dandaan lang, Jay.
Yeah, it's bad flood. I know, oh my gosh, for sure. But it's like by the roof. At least his clothes are still dry, huh? Hmm.
Tirik ko yun, oh. Pwera tirik.
Pabirik na yan. Yan mo yan. Kumagal dun.
Yeah, I know, right? How do you know? Yeah, I haven't seen any of this yet. I've been preoccupied today. Even though this happened yesterday. Great stuff, great stuff. This is what we want to see, right?
Lumalabas dito sa Magat Dam, so nakafull na siya, mas malakas na kaysa kahapon. So ibig sabihin, mas malakas yung dating ng tubig mula Nueva Vizcaya. Kaya kailangan magpapalabas na yung dam ng tubig para
I bet loads of people got raptured on that day.
iwasan yung overflow sa taas.
Hmm.
Kasi mas mahirap po mag-overflow sa taas ng dam. Ang nakikita niyo po dito. Ayan, kahapon hindi bukas yung isang gate, 4 lang yung bukas.
This is the power of water. It's pretty powerful.
Need an online video? Go to Fiverr.com.
See where else we got under these subscriptions. Watchmen.
That if you can, to please help.
Loud Watchmen, man.
There would be an increase in deception, false Christs who will deceive many, wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, earthquakes, Christian persecution, apostasy, false prophets, and lawlessness, causing the love of many to grow cold. Jesus said all of these signs would come like birth pains. Jesus was likening last days events to a woman in labor. As the labor progresses, the pains
watch some Jason A after this, I think.
Intensity until the baby
this is
finally
30
comes.
minutes, I don't know if I'm going to watch all of them.
Jesus' return, all the signs he gave.
Renegade province that must be reunified with the mainland. Incursions by Chinese fighter planes into Taiwan airspace have been happening almost daily since the summer. And some
oh yeah, we are definitely in the days of Noah.
Than ever to war. And if Taiwan cannot repel a Chinese invasion, the U.S. might decide it must come to Taiwan's rescue. But if you assume the United States would win a war with China over Taiwan, you might be interested in a game they
yeah, we won't have a worldwide flood, yeah.
War game put on by the Rand Corporation for Pentagon
yeah, God did promise us he wouldn't flood the world again.
Mostly because of how far many U.S.
local floods is not the whole world, is it?
Taiwan.
For them, it's a home game. For us, we have to sail across the Pacific.
But China expert Dean Cheng at the Heritage Foundation thinks despite all the saber rattling by the communist leaders in Beijing, a planned invasion of Taiwan would be too risky. China still doesn't have the landing craft to ferry enough troops across the Taiwan Strait. It would have to use commercial shipping.
Any kind of invasion of Taiwan means crossing 100 miles of some of the worst water in the world by a military that hasn't fought a war since 1979,
yeah,
and runs the very real risk of American intervention.
The author of Bully of Asia, China expert Stephen Mosier
Bully
agrees,
of Asia,
saying the last thing Beijing wants is a shooting war with the United States.
What it wants to do is it wants to use this gray area between war and peace to continue its cyber attacks, to continue its espionage in other countries, but it certainly would use force in the future if it thought it had achieved a position of dominance.
A war with the United States would also decimate China's export-driven economy. A 2016 RAND study said war would slash more than a third from China's gross domestic product and shrink America's by as much as 10%. Dr. Robert Farley teaches at the Patterson School of Diplomacy and the U.S. Army War College.
The damage that a war between the United States and China would cause, both in material terms, but especially in economic terms, is virtually.
Does this guy know what's going on? Talking about the damage a war could do.
It would be an economic apocalypse for both countries and for lots of other countries.
But even if China does not launch a planned invasion of Taiwan, war could still break out anyway. China's repeated incursions into Taiwanese airspace could trigger a shooting war.
We watched that video yesterday, didn't we, with the foreign army in Canada.
Some in the Philippines
believe
China would seize at least part of their territory in a war with the United States. Farley says China has entered a dangerous phase, becoming more belligerent as its military has become more sophisticated.
The core of China's security policy is this realization that they basically are surrounded by enemies and potential enemies. And so we have to be assertive, and we have to be aggressive, and we have to demonstrate to all of them that we will not back down. So where we really have to watch, I think, is Taiwan.
The United States has never explicitly committed itself to the defense of Taiwan. Some in Congress believe it's time to start. But if America does come to Taiwan's rescue, hopefully the Pentagon has learned something from all those losses to China during war games.
Threats and boast has
those aircraft carriers, one of the most expensive things to build.
Donald Trump's electoral defeat and to warn Israel.
On the emotional level, no one can stop us from feeling happy. It's our right. from this humiliating downfall by his own people. His own people brought him down because he humiliated them too, and he humiliated his allies and his friends and carried out attacks against the people of the world.
Wow.
But Nasrallah alleges without evidence that the Trump administration and Israel will conspire to use the last 2 months of this presidency to act
It
against
looks so
Lebanon or
awkward when they're
Hezbollah,
going for the
and
shake,
warned
you
that the
know.
group, considered to be a terror organization by many nations, stands ready to strike.
All of us in the Hezbollah should be in an extreme state of alert during these last 2 months of U.S. President Donald Trump's administration.
But despite the rhetoric from a major political faction, Lebanon has good reason to keep things quiet. The third round of negotiations regarding maritime borders and natural gas rights concluded Wednesday, and UN observers called the negotiations
Hello there, Ellie.
The two nations are in a declared state of war with multiple areas of disputed border between the two. One of those disputes covers
How's
tens
it
of
going?
billions of dollars of natural gas beneath the sea. Lebanese officials estimated that there were 50-50 odds on successful resolution of the dispute, while Nasrallah claimed that Lebanon had the advantage.
We need to draw up the maritime border to benefit from oil and gas in our regional waters. So does the enemy, who's prudent and knows that Lebanon is in a position of strength.
The uneasy negotiations come against the backdrop of war preparations. On October 25th, the IDF launched Operation Lethal Arrow, simulating a full-scale war against Hezbollah. Despite the rhetoric, ratcheting up tensions seems to be in nobody's best interest at this time.
In the last days, the prophet Zechariah tells us Israel will be the focal point of world conflict, and he gives a dire warning to the nations who would dare come
Oh, that's
against
cool.
Jerusalem.
I hope you have a good
Zechariah
night.
12:2 and
Get
3.
some rest.
Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples, when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it. Zechariah goes on to tell us in verse 6 that God will use the Israeli defense forces to destroy the Muslim nations that seek their destruction.
Has fired tear gas. Protesters attacked them with rocks. Protesters say police fired rubber bullets. Some of them were wounded. Protesters filled streets and plazas around the country, many of them university students. They say they're fed up with
Lawlessness, yeah?
More than half of the 130 congressmen face criminal
That's,
investigations, from homicide to fraud
what are they
to money
doing?
laundering,
They're protesting,
among other
right?
alleged
What's that
crimes.
about?
We cannot allow them to trample us.
Was that the demon red?
Government unconstitutional.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can only make them react with our protest.
The protesters insist lawmakers perpetrated a coup d'etat.
We've witnessed the kidnapping of our democracy. The congressmen have committed treason during one of the worst moments of our history.
After months of anti-government protests and rallies, tensions peaked last month as the line between the protesters' demands and the response of Thailand's government hardened. Started by student groups at the beginning of the year, the protests swelled in July and have been growing ever since. So too has the focus on what they want changed. They refine their demands to three: that Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha resign, a new constitution be drafted, and the powerful...
What is that? Isn't that the thing that they did on that movie? Do you remember that movie with the Hunger Games? And the girl, Agnes, whatever, and
Tropical storm Ada ripping across the southeast.
she used to put her hand up, you know, if you recall. I don't know if it's the same symbol.
With the latest on the
I don't know when I'll be on next. Usually it's pretty impulsive, so maybe tomorrow. There's always content, more content as the days go by, isn't it? Possibly tomorrow.
And unfortunately, it's not just washout roads. There were people that were caught up in these floodwaters. Overnight, a desperate search for those still missing, swept up in flash floodwaters in the
Tomorrow
Carolinas,
evening,
North Carolina.
normally around 8,
At
9
least
p.m.
7 deaths now being blamed on weather, fed by Tropical Storm Ada and another storm system that struck the Carolinas. The combination responsible for dumping up to 10 inches of rain in some areas. 3 of the victims were at a flooded campground, 2 still missing, including a 1-year-old child. Cars swallowed up by flash
Look at
floods,
that.
houses completely submerged, many roads impassable. In one county alone, dozens of roads damaged, 4 bridges washed away. First responders in Charlotte working to save those stranded. Across the state, hundreds of rescues. Schools forced to evacuate students to safety. And in Virginia, you can see rescuers in Roanoke pulling this vehicle from rushing waters. The state not taking any chances, closing flood walls to minimize the impacts of rising rivers.
In the town of Rodriguez in Rizal, we met Eric and Lisa Magbanwa. They were able to evacuate their home before it was submerged by floodwaters.
I think this was
no matter how hard it is to
yesterday, isn't it? Yeah, yesterday.
We needed to get the rice and eggs we had in storage. At least we have something to eat this week.
But everything else has been
Was it
destroyed.
yesterday?
They know it will take them years to rebuild.
The typhoon,
so
though.
they
I don't
hold
know.
on to what gives them
Or is that just the
Next door,
latest?
Evangeline
Andrea might
Mary
know,
Wood
or
is in
Steve.
despair. All her belongings have been damaged too, and she still has her mortgage to pay.
Please help us. We need clothes, food. We don't even have drinking water.
No, it might even be a few
Typhoon
days.
Vanko barreled
I'm not
across many areas
100%
in
when it
Luzon,
happened.
destroying homes and leaving thousands without power. More than 200,000 people were evacuated, but many others had to scramble onto rooftops and
Yesterday,
wait
yeah, I
to
thought
be
it was
rescued.
yesterday.
What we're seeing here is just a fraction of a village of more than 2,000 homes. But it is quite obvious already, just by looking at the debris, that a big part of the destruction of Typhoon Vanko
Oh,
was
yeah.
caused by logs that were swept down from the mountains.
It's terrible.
Typhoon Vanko is the third typhoon to hit the Philippines in 3 weeks. The country is still reeling from the impact of Typhoon Goni nearly 2 weeks ago.
Maybe this is
At
why they
least
got all the
20
masks
typhoons strike
going, you know what I
each
mean?
year,
They
and
knew that
earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are
these
common.
things,
Scientists say
you know.
weather disturbances in the Philippines have become more extreme
Look at them all
in
wearing
recent
masks. It
years
is
because
good
of
in the
climate
sense
change.
that
And that's
after
raising
a
concern about
event like
many
that
that
with
they
all
could become victims to an endless cycle
the
of
bacteria,
loss
etc.
and despair.
The world is baffled at the events taking place in the weather, and yet it was foretold 2,000 years ago in Bible prophecy that this would happen. Satan, the great deceiver, often tries to front-run God by giving people wrong ideas ahead of time about what is prophesied to happen. Satan has tricked mankind into believing
It doesn't
that
look like
climate
that.
change is real, and in turn has blinded many people to the gospel of Jesus Christ.
I'm sure
as
he's
we read in
pretty
2 Corinthians
a handsome
4:24.
fellow.
But even if our gospel is veiled, it is
One of
veiled
the
to those who
angels.
are
It
perishing,
don't look like
especially
that.
when thought to be sent by God. And great hail from heaven fell upon
No
them.
way they
Change.
always
It is
persist
God
with
letting us
these
know our Lord and Savior,
nasty
Jesus
images
Christ,
of him
is
as if
returning.
he looks like that.
Alemayehu Tadesse discovers his village empty, immersed in silence. The smell of dead animals lingering in the air.
Shades are broken now. 3 cow
Part of his
skulls.
house collapsed due to floods, which affected the Afar region. He lost his cattle and all of his belongings. The strong rains of the summer months led to floods in northeastern Ethiopia, affecting over 250,000 people and displacing more than 150,000.
Good night.
With his 6 children and his wife, Alemayehu now lives in a displaced camp, but he doesn't have enough materials to build a proper shelter. Many camps were established around schools, such as this one, where a mobile health unit cares for women and children. Doctors warn against unsanitary living conditions. Almost all people who get tested here are malnourished. Nasra Ali was 9 months pregnant when she had to leave her village to find refuge in this classroom. But children have to go back to school soon, and displaced families have therefore been asked to leave the buildings. This local official in charge of the emergency response says he's unequipped to properly deal with the situation. Afar was hit by several disasters during the past weeks, and now a war is ongoing in the neighboring region between the federal army and Tigrayan forces. He fears the humanitarian crisis might worsen. Ahmed Omer lost 4 hectares of land, washed away by the river. His remaining crops were largely destroyed by the invasion of desert locusts present in the country for several months. He recently plowed this field to sow new seeds. 2 hectares of maize are still intact, but he worries a new invasion might come soon. Ahmed and his neighbors have little hope for the years to come. Even animals suffer from the locusts. The government and the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization are still trying to fight the desert locust invasion, but the human capacity is limited and it's impossible to cover all infested areas. This farmer and his son are watching, powerless, how swarms are devouring their sorghum plantations. Traditional methods were not enough to chase the insects away, and local authorities have limited means. A food crisis seems increasingly likely. Desert locusts are said to have destroyed more than 200,000 hectares of farmland since the beginning of the year, an invasion considered as the worst in 25 years. In the middle of the harvesting season, locusts, as well as the conflict in Tigray, could worsen the already disastrous humanitarian situation.
What we are witnessing is just a glimpse of what the 7-year tribulation will be like. It is evident that planet Earth is in the time Jesus refers to as the birth pains. The world is seeing death, destruction, and despair at unprecedented levels. The events the world is suffering
this is just
through
a
right
start,
now,
can you
awful
imagine?
as they are, will only get worse. The Bible tells us in the last days, right before Jesus returns, there will be a time of severe distress this world has never seen or ever will see again, as we read in Matthew 24:21. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this, because of the plague of the hail. Since that plague was exceedingly great.
Renewed efforts to control the worsening coronavirus pandemic in the U.S. On Friday, for a fourth straight day, a record was set for new infections. More than 184,000 Americans tested positive for the virus. Hospitalizations also hit a record high for a fourth consecutive day, reaching more than 68,000. An average of more than 1,100 Americans.
In New York this morning with more. Michael, good morning.
We established a field hospital with 240 beds.
Thank you for spending some time with us tonight. Did you happen to see the strange bright lights last night? You may have been one of many who thought it looked like a plane, meteor shower, or something unexplainable.
Oh.
Daddy, what language does a like
The astronomy out here is great. We're kind of a dark spot, so there's a lot of stars to be seen. A lot of folk like to come out, set that up.
What else do you see in the sky out here?
Well, there's a lot of unexplained things. People do come out and look for that, from Zeno Ranch up over the hill and all throughout here. Plenty of people have seen very impossible to explain phenomenon. You know, like something going like that, then it's going, like, you know, I haven't seen the jet created yet that could make that.
Have you seen that?
I've seen some things like that, you know, but it's because it's so dark, you see a lot up there. But yes, I've seen some hard angles for a normal aircraft to make, and they're definitely way up in the sky.
Hey, give my phone.
I have my, yeah, here. Here.
Dude, look, the 3 lights are back. They're back. They're moving in unison. It's just random lights in the sky moving. Like, I'm not the only one seeing it. There are other people here recording. There's just random lights.
Why is that beeping? Oh my day.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I suppose it could be the swearing. Yeah, it's true.
Well, I don't my
What are those three lights? Not really sure. It could be. It's just some trickery of some sort, you know. They're gonna try and say it's aliens or something, but it's not any aliens. Maybe it might be military, some new military tech, or it might be hologram, or it might be a UFO craft. But the important thing about it is that they're doing that. They've already come out and said UFOs are real and
Last
all
week,
that malarkey.
his home surveillance camera motion detector kept going off. So from bed, he pulled out his phone and looked at the living room.
This orb, this imagery just hovering in my living room.
No one else was there. It wasn't a flashlight or passing headlights. And Pastor Ford thinks it was too big to be a dust
exactly. It could have been
particle.
drones.
He walked into the living room watching the live feed on his phone.
Program the drones, they could easily
physically see what I'm looking at.
keep their distance and all that kind of stuff with each other
orb
pretty
came and
accurately.
went for hours. At one point, splitting into several shapes.
That's when I'm like, nope. Something's going on here. Something's going on here.
Pastor Ford has been haunted by some of the things he's seen as police chaplain and while working his own street ministry. But nothing has spooked him quite like this.
If it's physical, I can stand it, I can
Yeah,
challenge
exactly,
it, I
Project
can approach
Bluebeam.
it, I can deal with it. But when we talk about things that's just floating and disappearing.
This man of faith says the odd occurrence has certainly led to a lot of spirited debate. But so far, he has no certain explanation.
If I know what something is, I'm okay. But it's the unknown thing that throws me off.
And it was all over social media, Ross. People posting stories about seeing strange lights in the sky this past weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely an out-of-this-world experience because these bright lights were shooting through the skies on Saturday night around 10 o'clock, and it looked like a bunch of shooting stars.
Yeah.
Now, some people thought it was a meteor shower, maybe a drone, or maybe something unexplainable. E.T. phone home? But experts on top Mauna Kea say it was likely the re-entry of a rocket booster into the Earth's atmosphere from a launch back in 2008.
What is that, guys? What is that?
And I started videotaping, and when they got closer, that's when I started freaking out because I'm like, oh,
And they're all moving at the same speed and in uniform, and if that was all
what to think. We didn't know
different
what it was,
objects,
where it
they'd
came
be
from.
splintering off,
It
right?
just appeared. It was very quiet. It was actually
Some
very
would be
eerie.
dropping sooner than
That
others.
was
and all
probably
that.
what
Yes,
many
no.
thought when they saw these mysterious bright lights in the night sky. But experts from the Mauna Kea observatories offer a simple explanation of what they suspect.
So in all likelihood, what they saw last night was the re-entry of a rocket booster.
So we can't be 100% certain because we don't have any of the pieces of the debris, but
Yeah, it could be them being cast down to the earth, you know. But speculation more.
The northern torrid meteor shower will hit its peak tonight. This one is special because it will actually consist of fireballs, which scientists say are still meteors, but they shine brighter than the planet Venus. Fireballs also tend to last longer. Stargazers can expect to see about 5 fireballs per hour. The annual show has been going on since October, but it'll be most visible tonight and tomorrow night. How about that, JB?
A meteor is streaking across the night sky over Lakewood, New Jersey. A resident's dash cam captured the amazing sight just after 7 last night. The American Meteor Society tweeted that it received more than 215 reports that the bright fireball was also spotted in states along the East Coast from New Hampshire to Maryland.
The sky near St. Louis lit up last night with what looked like a meteor. Hundreds of people say they saw it across 100 miles. This bright blue light was followed by a falling object. Many say they also heard a boom. The video you see here is from a home security camera. If it was a meteor,
a photographer in Boulder is sharing photos of an incredible phenomenon. This is a light pillar. Meteorologist Chris Spears says the beams are created when light near the surface reflects off tiny ice crystals that are suspended in the atmosphere. Willie Cunningham captured the rare moment north of Jamestown, and our Jeff Todd talked to him.
And just stumbled across this, what appears to be called a light pillar, which I did not know at the time.
Yeah, what did you see, and what was it about this thing that caught your eye?
Yeah, so I was driving pretty slowly. I was with my friend Anna, and the roads were covered in snow. And at first, we sort of just thought it was a glint of light, sort of just in our periphery, I guess. But as we kept driving, we noticed that this sort of hovering light source wasn't moving at all. It was just this constant ray of light floating in space. So yeah, that's the only reasonable explanation I could find on the internet. And it seems to make sense, but I'm sort of in awe about it. I'm just happy that people are enjoying it, to be honest. The world's sort of in a funk right now, I think, especially Colorado and some of these western states.
3 million miles.
Bad, so.
It's not exactly
This morning, waves thrashing Florida's coastline in a season that's seen hurricane after hurricane. Overnight, heavy rainfall and storm surge smacking yet another Gulf Coast state.
Let's talk about the tropics. And let me step off the map here because this is what a record-breaking hurricane season looks like.
This is every single storm that we've had so far, and I have to emphasize so far this season. 29 named storms, 30 systems all together when you include tropical depression 10, but I think this is the really just amazing stat of the 2020 hurricane season. There have been 13 U.S. landfalls. 13 U.S. landfalls, and most of them have been along the Gulf Coast. Ada accounted for 2 of those landfalls, one of the Keys.
The massive Category 4 storm just 30 miles off Nicaragua's coast.
Tropical Storm Ada's extended life has lived long enough to make 4 landfalls, forming last month and first striking as a Category 4 in Nicaragua. Then hopscotching through Cuba, the Florida Keys, and now its final return just north of Tampa. Police in Sarasota wading through drenched streets in a region that amazingly hadn't yet been touched by historic storms.
Over a period of 4 days, Ada drenched a huge area of Central America, from Panama to southern Mexico.
The storm made landfall on Honduras and Nicaragua with winds up to 140 miles an hour. Right now, at least 30,000 people are in evacuation shelters.
140-mile-per-hour winds, that is crazy.
Big news to start with, though, here at 6. There's been a series of earthquakes overnight in central Nevada.
Yeah, there have been at least 50 earthquakes since 1 o'clock this morning. This is near the Tonopah and Mina area.
Probably felt at some parts in California, but it happened in Nevada.
Yeah, right around 1:13 this morning, and make it clear, weather, earthquakes do not go together, but I wanted to show this right now because some people...
A 5.3 magnitude earthquake hit rural Nevada this morning, and it was felt by people around the Sierra National Forest in California. It was centered around 160 miles southeast of Reno. Earlier this year, Nevada recorded its largest earthquake in 66 years.
Earthquakes have been pretty common in that area. We've seen clusters of these before. No reports of any injuries or major damage. You'll remember, Sherry, the last time they had some rather more serious earthquakes up there that damaged the highway up there. They had to have some detours around there. So it is possible, but it looks like this is just sort of a little more excessive shaking.
Yeah.
Good morning, people. Watchmen95, Lisa Boyce here. I'm going to give you the gospel. It's in 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4.
I'm seeing everyone's
Christ died for our sins, want to live as close to the Lord as
Christ
we can, and we should.
You know.
But that has nothing to do with salvation. I mean, it has something to do with your discipleship and sanctification, but it has, when you get saved by believing and accepting Christ as Savior, the Holy Spirit will indwell in us. I've said this over and over and over again. The Holy Spirit will indwell in us and lead us to righteousness. It's simple as that. I mean, personally, I don't know why people want to make such
I know, right? They want to make it so difficult.
Rocket science project out of it. Because it's really not. Salvation is extremely easy.
Yeah.
Just believe in what the Lord did for you at the cross of Calvary. It is not of us. It is not through works, lest any man should boast. We are saved by grace through faith in Christ alone. Period. And with us being in the dispensation of grace, it's easy to get saved, because the requirement for us to get saved is believing in what He's already done for us.
Yep.
That's it. I want to tell you something, and the reason why I come on here again every day is for salvation. We are close to the tribulation. And if we're this close to the tribulation, we're even closer to the rapture. Now, I'm going to tell you what this article came up this morning. And it says Supreme Court Justice warns religious liberty is in danger of becoming a second-class right. American freedoms and religious liberties are experiencing an unprecedented limitations, according to the Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, who is reportedly sounding the alarm about ongoing actions in America, whether from COVID or from pro-LGBT, elemental PQ hardliners. It says, according to Christian Broadcast Network, CBN, Alito recently told the Federalist Society that America has never faced such extreme limitations on freedom as it has this year due to COVID restrictions. The pandemic has resulted in previously unimaginable restrictions on individual liberty. Alito said in a virtual address to the Conservative Federalist Society,
No, okay.
we have never seen such restrictions as severe, extensive, and prolonged as those experienced for most of 2020. Alito went on further to warn that laws giving government officials, you gotta excuse me, that's the dump truck out there, giving government officials so much discretion to impose such regulations can be abused, and that religious freedoms were particularly at risk. We see that now. It says, it pains me to say this, but in certain quarters, religious liberties is fast becoming a disfavored right.
Just 1 second.
He said, citing COVID restrictions that blatantly discriminated against houses of worship. This perspective of Alito stems from the fact that he himself was critical of 2 cases this year where the Supreme Court agreed with restrictions on religious gatherings. In both cases, Chief Justice Roberts sided with the court's liberals in 5-4 rulings that limited the First Amendment rights of worshipers. Whatever one may think about this COVID restrictions, we surely don't want them to become a recurring feature after
People
the
just
pandemic
need to
has
figure out
passed,
that the only freedom's in Christ,
said Alito. The Supreme Court Justice is merely raising a red flag that religious freedom should be protected in America. He went further to state religious liberty is in danger of becoming a second class right. Now, let me, I'm going to say this, and see, this is all related to prophecy. All of this is related to prophecy. There has to be chaos. This is a perfect time for the Antichrist to come on the scene. I've said it before. And come on the scene, he will.
Amen.
Now,
yeah, that's right. Just broke.
You're going to hear a crash in a second. But
broke all the chains.
That's like I said, he's going around different areas. We have to realize that even in the case of Trump, prophecy is being fulfilled. It's going to take a miracle for that man to get reelected. But we don't look to that. We look to what's happening. We look to what the Lord said. And like I said, I do believe that the tribulation period is coming quicker than we think. And with the tribulation period coming quicker than we think, the rapture is coming quicker.
This is why this stuff
Those
is
of
going
us who
on.
believe in a pre-trib rapture.
People only want to pray when they're in trouble, isn't it?
I'm going to link this article in the description box. Yesterday I
bombs
couldn't
are
come back
dropping,
on because I was in the middle of doing something
God's
else.
going to help him out.
I will be back on later today, and I will link articles to my blog later on. But thanks for listening. I will link this article in the description box. Thank you.
Yeah. See what Hugo's saying.
I've been on Noom for 4 months. I've lost 27 pounds, and I feel like I got my life back.
I've been on Noom for...
Feeling a bit tired tonight, guys, so...
Hello, you're listening to Hugo Talks. BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, the Brainwashing Collective. Mentioned them a few times on this channel. I'm no fan of the BBC. Total waste of money. Brainwashing people like crazy, trying to control their minds. And the public have been wising up to this company, and they have been stopping paying their license fees in their droves recently. Even though they get threatening letters through the door and so forth. Now, there's a defund the BBC movement, wanting the BBC to stop asking for a license and for them to fund themselves, like everybody else has to do. And it transpires today that these deplorable propaganda merchants of the elite have changed the rules. This is on their website, I believe. It says, the law, you need a TV license if you watch or record programs as they've been shown on TV on any channel. And here's the new one, here's the new part here. Watch or stream programs live on an online TV service such as ITV Hub, All4, YouTube, Amazon Prime, and so on. Then it says this applies to any device, including a laptop, a television, or a mobile phone, or a tablet. Okay,
sure
which basically means you don't even have to have a TV to have to pay the license fee by law. Now, this detail was not there before. Everyone watches YouTube. And you may ask, what's that got to do with the BBC? And the answer is nothing. They have literally changed the rules to enforce you to, and basically everyone now, because everyone's got a phone, to pay the license fee. They have done the same thing in Ireland. In Ireland, last year, you have RTE, which is basically the BBC in Ireland. RTE is a state-funded brainwashing TV station and radio station, just like the BBC. They force you by law to pay a TV license for it, and apparently it's absolutely terrible. But a lot of people started to not pay it. So they changed the rules, and it has now become, well, I don't know what it has become, but here's the story. TV license, I think it's called a media license. TV license to be replaced by broadcasting charge. Alright, broadcasting charge, which will include online streaming. You will have to pay a fee even if you don't own a TV. That's Ireland for you. We are changing a TV license to a broadcasting license, and you have to pay it even if you don't have a TV. Brilliant. That's what they did in Ireland last year.
Great. It's like, let me help you and brainwash you and give me money while I do it, please. It's like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Alright, brothers and sisters in Christ. As usual, thank you for joining in. Jesus bless you. Yeah, Andrea, I don't know what they up to, you know. It's just the money thing, isn't it? It always comes down to the money. Money makes people dance. But thank God for Jesus. See if Eva wants to come say a prayer for us. Go on then.
Thank you, God, for creating our food. Thank you for creating our families. Thank you for creating us. Thank you for creating all the water. Thank you for creating the animals. Thank you for dying on the cross, and we always love you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Good night, everyone.